Yellow creature gobbles dots while being pursued through maze by monsters. Believe it or not, those things are really happening on 200 electronic video games here at Chicago Fest. What you see here is part of a national phenomenon that we call high-tech wreck, a phenomenon that had to happen when the TV set married the computer. It starts with a quarter, and it ends up as a national industry estimated at $7.5 billion a year. Video games. They seem to have captured America's imagination and its pocket change as well. Right now, the country's two hottest games are Chicago games. There's Defender, a space battle game made by Williams Electronics on the north side. The object is to fly over your planet, shooting down the enemy spacecraft, which are trying to capture your humanoids. Defender is prized for its nifty sound and visual effects.
The amount of time some people can play the games is staggering. Greg Davies, an 18-year-old from Fresno, California, played Asteroids for 31 hours on just 1 quarter. His final score for the game, a record 15.5 million points. To get this good, Greg practiced for a year, pumping hundreds of dollars in quarters into Asteroids. Still, he thinks it was worth it.
You make a lot more friends around here. People look up to you, you know. There's a lot of people that, oh, well, here, you know, here's Greg. Here comes Greg again.
Did it change your life, Greg?
Oh, yeah. It's, now my life kind of centers around the games, arcades and stuff. Right now, that's my thing.
You've beaten the machine.
While playing video games may have some benefits, this obsession with the games can also have negative effects.
Sometimes I'll go over at lunch and start playing the games and miss a class after lunch or something.
Has it touched into your grades at all?
I've probably moved down about 1 grade since I started playing. 1 or 2 grades down. I'm about B's or C's right now.
How do your folks feel about it? I might imagine you must have some kind of ambiguous feelings. You know, on the one hand, you're the champion. On the other hand, your grades have gone down a notch.
I think they kind of like it because they always know where I'm at. They know I'm not off causing trouble somewhere. They know they can just call the arcade or call Round Table and I'll be there.
George Macy is an average teenager who spends a lot of time here at Mother's, but not much money. He is so skillful at playing the game Defender that he can make a single quarter last for an hour or more by earning additional plays or attack waves. One day last month, at age 14, George racked up 1,774,125 points. No one else has ever come close, at least in the known universe.
Well, when you're playing the game, you always get the green men down at the bottom so that they don't pick up your men and turn into mutants, because when that happens, you can give up the game, because when you lose your world, there's no way of getting out of it.
The planet can blow up.
Yeah, the planet can blow up and you go into space. These videos, a lot more, probably the funnest thing is designing one. That's what I like to do the most.
There are those who say the impact of video games isn't all good. Dr. Sherry Turkle, a sociologist at MIT, says these games emphasize power, aggression, macho, and manipulation. We talked about that with 2 Chicago psychologists.
One of the things that makes people upset is that kids hang around and are obviously having a good time, and I think that people always get nervous when that's happening. So I think that some of the dangers are overstated. But if there's any danger in these games, it seems to me it's that breaking up of the social contacts, that's such a loner sort of activity.
Well, besides the feeling of competence, I think there's also an added benefit of exposure to the video screen and getting prepared for the advent of the computer age.
Chicago Alderman Patrick Hewells believes that where there are video games, there could be trouble. Hewells wants to ban the games in Chicago for people under age 18.
They're too close to the school, they're too close to the church, or they're in the middle residential zone. And the kids congregating, people, they're blocking the sidewalk and just hanging around. We have fine parks throughout our city. We have the Valentine's Boys Club. There's other forms of recreation that the kids can get involved in.
What Sam Dicker does for a living is to invent video games. He's one of the resident computer geniuses at Chicago's Williams Electronics Company. Last year, Dicker co-designed Defender, which right now is the #1 coin game in the country. Sam uses this computer for a process he calls birthing, developing new effects for games yet to be invented. The road from here to finished video game may end up costing a company $1 million. But nationwide, Defender is currently earning nearly $8 million a week. What makes a good video game designer?
Well, you have to be a science fiction fan, you have to be a programmer, you have to be kind of an artist. We actually have to first please ourselves, and we're about the most finicky players around. We've played every game until we're bored of it. Just like a movie, you want to get lost in it. You want to forget that you're playing a game. You want to, you know, when the game's over, you want to suddenly realize that you're in the arcade.
It has to be easy enough for the person who's never played a video game before to walk up and play it for a sufficient length of time that he doesn't feel like he's had his quarter stolen right out of his hand. But it has to be challenging enough that the expert player can come up and play it and be challenged by it and not be bored by it.
You can destroy all these creepy crawly things.
It's a way to spend an evening with the family, and you know, the cost is minimal.
You work hard at it, you try different tactics and stuff. It's just fun.
It's challenging. It always changes. It's always something different.
And I go crazy when I get on Pac-Man. You'd think I was 10 years old again.
At the University of Connecticut in Stamford, psychologist Jerry Seeholster is interested in the broader implications of video games.
The impression that I get from reading a lot of the anti-video game literature is that the parents feel that these forces are out of their control, totally out of their control. It's almost as if these games are going to steal their children from them and make them into robots or something like that. But it lies in the control of the people who are involved in them.
To me, it makes absolutely no sense at all, because I know there are very young people that use these games and middle-aged people and older people that use it. And I think that young people should be allowed to use it because it helps them with the reflexes and eye coordination. And I think it's a valuable tool for all of us, and it's a great way, I think, to get a lot of pleasure out of this type of thing. And I don't think that it should be restricted. There's nothing wrong with video games per se.
You know, you move with your ship. You don't move just your hands. You are the ship. That's how you get the high points. It's so hypnotic. It's so enticing. You have to watch it. In fact, if I see a good player, now I have to watch the machine because I just can't believe what I'm seeing. If you see someone who really can deal with those betas and those swarmers with ease and really can go in and out of them and treat them like what they ought to be treated and just blown up.
In suburban Franklin Park, you'll find Midway Manufacturing feverishly turning out 350 Pac-Man games every day in 3 different cabinet styles. Pac-Man is known as the cute game. A voracious little yellow globe gobbles up golden dots and various kinds of fruit, all the while being pursued by 4 hungry monsters, which can themselves be eaten at crucial moments.
Electronics is changing so rapidly, and with each change in electronics, it brings something new. So this is not a passing fad.
The pinball machine has always been a firm favourite with all ages, but the business of having fun is exploding into new worlds.
Well, the industry's changed beyond all recognition. When I originally started in it, everything was purely mechanical. Now look at what we've got in front of us. A small cocktail table, microchip technology, all the innovations that science can give us. A very exciting and stimulating game for the player.
What sort of games are people going for now?
The majority of the games that we're buying today are all video games, mainly.
Yeah, I mean, do people like the sophisticated sort of game, do they?
The more complicated that the games are, the more the people like to play them.
Dennis Pivac is one of the new slot machine champions. Only 17, he regularly comes close to burning out the computer boards. Dennis, you seem to play these machines fairly well. How come?
Well, I've had a lot of practice, quite a bit.
How long have you been playing?
For about a year now. About a year, 2 or 3 times a week.
Are you a fanatic on these machines?
Well, you could probably say that, yeah. I do like playing them. They're an exciting game. It's a pleasure to me. The game's quite a exciting game to play.
How long can you keep going for your 20 cents?
Oh, anywhere half an hour to an hour.
People who make these machines wouldn't be too happy with people playing for half an hour for 20 cents.
No, they wouldn't be. When they first came out, they were could only stay 2 or 3 minutes on the game. But as people got better, the time got longer. I don't think they anticipated that.
And that children that are stealing money are spending them on Space Invaders.
How much money would some of these kids actually steal?
We've had one case recently where a child has spent about $267 on these machines. But usually it's smaller amounts, milk money and petty stealing from cars.
Do you think in any way that operators of these machines are in any way responsible?
As long as they're aware of the children that come in, and if children are there at times when they shouldn't be there, that they contact the police or make some inquiry.
In 1978, a new Japanese machine appeared on American shores. Although it looked innocent enough, this machine turned out to have some unusual powers. It kept kids mesmerized for hours, made teenage boys forget about girls. The machine was Space Invaders, and it became so popular that it inspired a song, fan clubs, tournaments, and even caused a serious shortage of coins in Japan. Space Invaders prompted a video game revolution in the United States, as more than 30 computer and electronics companies started designing new games and competing for our quarters. In 1980, Americans spent $3.3 billion playing video games. That's more money than the total combined budgets for the cities of Chicago, Boston, Washington, Dallas, and Cincinnati last year. Who's playing the games? Well, if you go to any arcade, you're likely to see people of all ages. But game manufacturers tell us that the overwhelming majority, about 85% of all the players, are teenage males.
One main reason is like the teenage kids under 16, they can't drive yet, so they can't go out cruising around, and they need something to do, so they come here and they waste their money on the games. It's something like a sport almost, parts of it. Just coordination and developing patterns.
It lets you release some of your tensions, and lets you think for a minute that you're a pilot of a spaceship destroying aliens that are attacking the Earth.
It's good just to sit down and not have to think for a while and just blow things up. Like you hear about people that go out and smash their cars into trees because they're just fed up. This is a good way of taking out your aggressions without doing any harm.
Why is it, do you think, Don, that the games have become so popular at this particular point in time?
We are a space-age society. We are an electronic society. We are a society, and especially at the teenage level, that has grown up with an enormous amount of exposure to television. The interest in video games is simply a reflection of that.
If we weren't an electronic society, we wouldn't have video games at all. Small printed circuit boards inside the machines contain the complicated information that makes the games work. The brain of the whole operation is this tiny microprocessor. In 1950, it would have taken a room full of computers to perform the data processing functions of today's microcircuits. What is it that makes a good game?
Typically, a game has to be easy to learn how to play in the beginning, but it must be difficult to master. That's very, very important. We also find that a successful game today must be a game that, as the player's skill increases, that player can have the opportunity to play for longer and longer periods of time. If they can develop the skill and abilities, they want to be able to play for as long as they can.
Although some of the kids admitted they spend up to $5 a day on the games, they all thought it was unfair for the town to pass laws to stop them from playing.
I don't think the town has any right to restrict us from using our money.
because it's our money, you know. I mean, the parents are one thing, but I don't think the town should do anything about it. I think it's up to the parents to make the rules, or the kids to make their own rules.
I don't like it. This is supposed to be a free country, land of opportunities. One opportunity to play the game.
As it turned out, the town decided not to put an age limit on the games, but they did pass a ruling that would make it impossible for an arcade to open in Irvington. This isn't the first time rules have been passed against amusement games.
New York City completes a roundup of thousands of pinball machines, each valued at about $100.
In 1938, all of the pinball machines in New York City were confiscated and destroyed, and it was 38 years before they were legal again. There are 500,000 video games in the United States today, and industry sources say there will be a lot more.
Do you think that video games are going to be here to stay, or are they just a fad that's going to go away?
They'll be here to stay.
I think it might die down a little bit.
I think they're going to be around for a long time. Because they say we're living in a space age, and these games are space age.
Do you think that they're here to stay, or is it just another hula hoop sort of?
Probably another hula hoop.
No, I think they're going to be around for good. Too many people are hooked on them now. I don't think they're going to end that quick.
Part of the fascination is the way the games are designed. Take 13-year-old Paul Glatzer playing Zaxxon. The game is three-dimensional. The screen is full of tricks to avoid. Your airplane moves faster than the speed of sound. Your tongue hungers for a kill.
I like the details on it. There's good details on the games.
Part of it is the sound. These games would not be any fun at all if there were no sound. But there is, and that is why people like Bert Price can stand at a machine for 2.5 hours, on 1/4, mind you, and play Galaga.
I could have done that for longer. Just I lost all my ships.
They're really quite simple inside. There's just one motor that pushes all the trays out in turn. But they're slightly more subtle than they look at first sight. If I pull up this cover, you can see that as the coins are pushed forward, some of them fall into these hidden slots at the side. The coins that fall off the front come out the tray here. But the coins that go into the hidden slots go down these chutes and into the box at the bottom, the profits for the arcade.
Here they are turning out Tron games as fast as they can. These workers are under so much pressure, company executives asked us not to spend too much time shooting the factory for fear it would slow the workers. That gives you some idea how competitive the business is. Incidentally, the Bally Company is the same one who gave us Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man, Space Invaders, Defenders, and Asteroids. On the average, it can take up to 2 years and several $100,000 to get a video game from the drawing board to the arcade. In between, there are secret testing locations and programming changes. Taito let us videotape in a room called Deep Engineering. Without being overdramatic about the whole thing, this is the most secure room in the plant. This is where the game gets its life and personality from computer programmers. Because of the fierce competition among video game companies, Taito requested we do not use last names. But Rex is working with Mark on a new game called Toasters and Chainsaws. Mark is computing what will appear on the screen. Rex is using a computer to synthesize the sound you will hear when the game hits the arcades. It is hours and hours of hard work, often tedious for the company. Dr. Gary Meyerson and 2 colleagues did what most curious doctors do, a study. They talked with 134 video game players. As you can see, 65% of those surveyed suffered some injury, blisters, calluses, arthralgia or pain, or tendinitis, from their fingers to their shoulders.
The development of the calluses and blisters are obvious. The complaints and the swellings secondary to the injury to the tendons were while they were standing at the tables playing the games.
Meyerson says some of the games could be designed better so that one's wrists would bend naturally to the controls. Meyerson also suggests that serious game players consider an arcade glove. Video games, in a sense, are addictive. Not like drugs, more like the need to jog. There is probably no true physical dependence. On the other hand,
there certainly is a psychological dependence in the sense that this is a gratifying experience, that the person's peer relationships, source of self-esteem, enjoyment in life, are wrapped up in video games, just as they might be in bowling, running with your cronies with whom you run every Sunday or something of this sort. I have not met anybody who can't go through the day in withdrawal from video games.
In Massachusetts, California, New York, in New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and in Georgia. In each of these states, a town or towns has either restricted licensing or banned the games altogether. Why? Fear, rumors, tall tales of corruption and evil. Psychiatrist Robert Alpern says if parents worry, they should make a trip to the local arcade and visit.
Many children has been an absolute boon. Kids who have not been good at much of anything else. Some of them have turned out to be exceptionally good at some of these video games. Talk about their high scores and their achievements as the most esteemed building activity in their entire life.
Well, it's the moving lights partly. Some of these games are really hard to do. It just takes a lot of skill, hand-eye coordination, and it doesn't cost as much as some other things, and it's legal.
Yeah, it's addictive. It is. Because you sit there and you just want to play it more and more.
We don't really prefer to use the word addictive. We think it's associated with negative connotations. We prefer to use the term compelling and highly popular, which obviously they are.